Hello everyone, CamBearRun here, and welcome to another Magic the Gathering Arena video. Today I thought I'd bring out another enchant deck. I did one a while back for one of my first MTG videos for my Celestia enchant deck. This is only mono white, so I made a couple of changes. I've done a couple of things that but kept some of the core cards like Sentinel's Eyes and all the glitters. But the idea behind it is that we play enchantments, and then we pressure our opponent out, and eventually drop Archon of Sun's Grace and hopefully be able to take over most of the game. So we have about 4 copies of Alistair of Life's Bounty, 3 copies of Sentinel's Eyes as some early drops. We've got all the glitters to be able to add power. We've got Glass Casket and Banishing Light to deal with our opponent's creatures. We've got Birth of Meletis to provide a blocker and gain life. Daxos Blessed by the Sun for devotion purposes, and to add power. So 3 copies of Omen of the Sun to be able to create soldiers and gain life. 3 copies of Idyllic 2 so we can dig through for enchantments, which is really important. 2 copies of Heliod the Suncrowned, as he is still an enchantment creature, and you can put a lifelink counter to gain life and power. And then we finish off with Archon of Sun's Grace and Elspeth Conquers Death, which Elspeth Conquers Death is a very, very useful card. Then of course we've got 2 Castle Ironvale, 20 Plains. So the idea is eventually we'd be able to take over the game with Archon of Sun's Grace, and then eventually just play cards to not annoy and outpressure our opponent. So the deck did quite well on the play queue, but I want to see how it does in ranked. So we'll start off and we'll go straight into a ranked game. So let's see how we get on. I can keep that hand. So, go straight into Alistair, into all the glitters, and just go from there. Hopefully we can actually get some enchantments on the board. Like so. There we go. This might be a Teemo deck. Let's go with Blessed by the Sun first. Get the attack in. Pop. So I can actually just take the hit from the Bone Crusher Giant. If I can get a land off the top, I can play Elspeth Conquers Death. I only have anything in the graveyard to grab, I can just play it and get rid of the Bone Crusher. I'll take the 2 damage. Okay. See? There we go. Yep, and they scoop. Because I can just get into the damage now. So, yeah, you see where it goes, where it works well. I know my opponent didn't interact much, but against some slower decks with the right draw, you can completely overwhelm your opponent quite quickly. So we'll just move on to the next game. And keep that hand. So we'll go in with the, in here, get the Daxos in, and then hopefully get both the Meletis and Sentinel's Eyes out. Okay. Get him 3 here. Really could use another land, I'm just saying. Interesting choice. I have to do this shit manually. That's the Archon of Sun's Grace gone next turn. We get the damage in. Lose the Archon. Okay. If I get a 4th land, I'm guessing he's got removal ready then, so... But I just found that was a bit weird, but... Oh well. In the meantime, get in for that. I genuinely thought he was about to take the wall there. I was like, what? So that's a big problem that I'm not getting land. It's a real shame because I've had this game quite torn up quite well, but it just doesn't want to give me any land out. So I'm stuck on 3 lands. My opponent's on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I can just do more. I'm not drawing that. I'm drawing an endless charade of cards that banish it, despite the fact this deck probably plays no creatures aside from Solemn Symbol. Yep. So, yeah, that's really frustrating. So, it's against a deck that doesn't play creatures. Here's all of the removal to deal with creatures. So, that's... I don't know how you're supposed to deal with that. It's just the way it goes. I can keep this hand. I'm going to Birth of Meletis, just banishing Light with Glass Casket. I can keep that, and keep my opponent's cards off the board, which should be quite good. So, yeah, that'll be fine. Castle Unveil, Birth of Meletis, or Meletis, even. Is it Meletis? I keep calling it Meletis. I think it is Meletis. So I'm guessing eventually they'll just throw down Lovestruck Beast and we'll just banishing light it. And I play their Edgewall Innkeeper. Yep. I am yet to encounter a food deck or any kind of deck that doesn't have perfect draw off. So, you know. Let's put the planes there. So I'm just assuming they'll play the Lovestruck Beast, right? And I'll banish and light it. That. If I don't do anything else next turn, I'll just play Glass Casket, take the Edgewall Innkeeper. At this point, I can literally just frustrate my opponent for fun. So, I'm kind of going to enjoy this one. I now have all of your board. What are you going to do about it? I do need to start getting some creatures on the board, I will say that. The petty stomp to face. Alright, just create the 1/1 token. Sort it. Okay. I mean, you can mutate a Gem Raise on top of a Rimlock Knight, but you just end up with a big creature that can't block. So. I'm gonna play Heliod next turn. Okay. What if I'm to return to nature, eh? So just play Elspeth Conquers Death and just get rid of this next turn. Okay. There we go. Please no more Gem Raisers. It is the one thing that kind of screws my deck up. So I've got him. I think I've got him right where I want him, actually. So he gets out the Evolving Wilds. You... Bruh. Right, how many do I have? That takes all of it. Like, I could Elspeth Conquers Death, the Chrome War, but I'm gonna do that on my next turn. Yep. Thing back. So, hopefully, like I said, hopefully no more gem raisers. Ooh, starting out the Kazandu Mammoth. So, I've kind of... Kazandu Mammoth again. So yeah, sort of a long one. This, it's there we go. That was enjoyable. Yep, and then they scoop because they can't do it anymore. It's just too much. So yeah, that's how I broke down a Gruul Adventures deck by just simply being obnoxious. It actually, you see, when it works. Really fun. I can live with that hand. Play the Alicid, Birth Melitus, all that jazz. So, it's 80 card Yorion deck, yay. This might be SP Yorion. Yep. This is going to be a pain in the ass, but have to get through it. So, Birth Melitus. Grab the lands. Oh, that was... The Archon of Sun's Grace was on top as well, and it's just shuffled it away. Right, leave that. Oh, that's interesting. A green. You go on ECD if they pull out a... Okay. Yeah, we're going to ECD if they pull out Ugin, so... Yeah, add your intent. Son of a bitch. Or it might be flooding, but then... My opponent doesn't seem to be playing anything, so... Oh, they grabbed Ashley up. I haven't grabbed any creatures. I've just grabbed all of my band stuff. Or my exile cards. Assuming the Ashiok will come down next. Yeah, you can see what kind of the state of my hand at the minute, so you're not getting on anything on the battlefield for a while, Sunshine. Take one of the ECDs. Yeah, it might just be an exile exile and confiscate everything deck. Led by Ashiok and Yorion. There may not be a Ugin after all. So I might just have to play out the Elspeth and get rid of the Ashiok the old-fashioned way. Oh, do we have a return to nature? No. Okay. Probably one of the more awkward games I've ever been in. So you know that anything you play, I'm going to immediately take. But if you get the Ashiok on the field, at least you can create a Black Nightmare creature. And start exiling whenever it attacks. We're going for the Yorion. We're going to take the Yorion. Then we're going to hold up the Omen of the Sun. We'll put that on in the end. Here comes Ashiok.
Listen to your pain. It whispers night. Never forget my voice. Pounding heart, racing mind. Surrender them to me.
Ooh, that's a problem. I think the game might be gone now because they've drawn into their, yeah.
You must be subdued.
Now they start getting their counter spells out, now I could be screwed. Especially if I didn't get any power on the board. Yep. Like Banishing Light, make another attempt on the Ashiok, but otherwise I think I might be a bit shafted.
Lurks among us.
I think the early flood probably didn't help. Yeah, good game. Because basically I can't play anything now, I'm out of cards. I think the early flood probably didn't help, but that's kind of frustrating. Because once they started to get their counter spells, there wasn't really anything I could do. Shame is that. Said it was going quite well, I just literally needed cards I could put on the board rather than just trying to react to everything they played. But I think we'll have to talk more about it in the outro. Okay, so I say there was some success, but I think the first problem this deck has is that it doesn't have a lot of creatures, which can be really way heavy if it's not played out right. The second, probably the major problem, is it kind of needs about 2 or 3 turns of non-interaction from your opponent. So it can actually get a board set up. If your opponent has counters, removal, anything that early interacts with anything you play on the board, it can be very difficult to get anything going. So I probably would say better off just keeping this in play queue. It's not, I wouldn't say it's not a bad deck. It's just kind of, it would have been good, say, 2 or 3 metas ago. In quite a heavy removal and counter-based meta at the moment, it's not particularly good to stand up in ranked. So there is a deck tomorrow which I'm really hoping will do well. I thought it, I thought this one might do well, but I think on the bright side it's been a bit of an awkward moment. But you live and learn. So I will have another deck tomorrow, which I'm actually think will be quite good. It's based around the more recent set. And then I'll be streaming tonight from about 8 o'clock. So tune in for that. I'll be using some of my actual proper decks, trying to get through, probably doing a rank grind. So tune in for that. And then if you've enjoyed this video, feel free to leave a like. And if you want to see more, you can always subscribe. Thank you for watching. Cambear out.